So I actually have a funny story about this because my NIKO Light of Hope deck was illegal for a hot minute. So if you've never played against the NIKO Light of Hope deck, if you've never built one, basically the whole thing is you want to play creatures with ETB abilities and then blink them with your commander, with spells, different things like that. And what I did to add like a little bit of extra utility to this deck, I had a lot of effects that let you bounce things back to hand because I was able that then at that point I could like protect my commander from board wipes. I could maybe get rid of something else on the board. That way I could like maybe delay it for a turn. Like I have a lot of like bounce back to hand stuff. One of the cards I ended up picking up was a white land called the White Tower of Ecthelion. It was a special land that Lord of the Rings had made off of like a land that I had never heard of at the time. I had never actually drawn that land before, so I didn't know anything about it. I just knew it was a Lord of the Rings card. I loved Lord of the Rings. I thought the art was beautiful. I wanted stuff that allowed me to bounce my commander back to hand for a relatively low cost. I did enjoy that. So I'm sitting down with the game night crew that from our LGS, and they tend to play like really high powered shit. Like there's like one guy in that group that I call Elf Ball McGee because he's always playing elf decks, and then like they're playing like weird enchantress shit. So like NIKO, he's not like super powerful, but he can hang. I end up drawing my White Tower of Ecthelion really early on, and there's like board webs happening and things like that. And I'm like, oh shit! All right, so I can just tap my White Tower of Ecthelion, bounce NIKO back to hand, and if the event that like I don't need to protect him on the player before me's end step, I can bounce NIKO back to hand, make more shards on my next turn. So I'm just having a ball. I'm not winning the game, but I'm surviving, and I'm doing a really good. I thought I was doing a really good job of it. So after like the fifth time my commander has dodged a board wipe, including a board wipe that essentially put everybody's commanders into exile, like it was one of those things where it's like they ended up getting trapped in something, and I was able to save my commander because of this land. And then one of the guys was like, "Hey Christine, can you show me that land? Like cuz like what's the card doing that?" I'm like, "Oh, it's my White Tower of Ecthelion. Like, do you want to see it?" It was Caracas. Caracas is really illegal. I did not know that at all. And like they let me finish playing the game, and I definitely lost. Like at that point, they dealt with me relatively quickly, but I was just completely bewildered. Not only because this card was really inexpensive when I bought it. It was real. Like I don't remember spending a lot of money on it. And I don't like to spend a lot of money on cards, so I was really excited. I'm like, I have something that I can bounce the like my commander right back to hand, and I can get like as much value as I possibly can. But then they were like, oh, you people use Caracas to essentially shut down people's commanders. Like they'll untap their land and shut down everybody's commanders as they're being cast. And I'm like, but I wasn't using it like that. I wanted it for my commander. I wanted a low cost way for my commander. And they were like, we get that, but this card is super illegal. You do need to swap it out. I need to get one of these, even though like this one's going to cost mana, like essentially 3 mana, because I'm going to have to leave this open and then tap 2 more in order to bounce my commander back to hand. But at least this is something. Like this is it's still going to achieve the same effect. It's just going to be a little bit more of a cost. But at the same time, I'm just like, Caracas, man. And then I'll see people on TikTok like, oh, what's the banned card that you want to be unbanned? And for me, I'm just like, I want Caracas. I specifically want Caracas for NIKO so that it has that utility. And then I could add a Riptide Laboratory to it later, and then that would be an even better way to bounce it back to hand. That way I have more protection for my stuff. But other people like to just shut down other people's commanders and how to play the game. And I'm just like, man, why can't you just look at this card and use it for your blink decks and be nice? Why can't we just be nice? So that's the story of how my NIKO Light of Hope deck was illegal for a hot minute. And honestly, I think it was one of those things where it's like, it didn't even occur to me to look up the original land. Because I'm like, why would they make a version of like a pretty Lord of the Rings version of a land that's illegal? Like, why? Why would they do that? I realize now that Caracas is illegal in Commander and like not other things, but I definitely didn't know that when I was building the deck, and nobody held it against me because they I had never once used the land against anybody else. It was literally just to bounce my own shit back to hand. So they were like, that's a clever way to do it, but that's still super banned, girly. And I think they did the same thing with Dockside. They put like they put like a Dockside in Avatar: The Last Airbender. And I almost like there was so much controversy around that card for a hot minute. I'm like, are they gonna bring it back? Because my Slimefoot and Squee deck could use that shit. Anyway, that was story time.